Leadership has on its cover this Monday. Leadership's main headline story says 14 northern states grapple with abandoned federal roads. 14 northern states grapple with abandoned federal roads. Motorists, residents ask federal government to end nightmare. Tinubu Umahi committed to fixing them, say controllers. Kaduna, Kebbi, Taraba, Zamfara have leased abandoned highways. Federal government executing 18 road projects in Kwara. These are riders to the main headline story today on Leadership newspaper, Nigeria's most influential newspaper. The main headline story: 14 northern states grapple with abandoned federal roads. Beside that Jakande lecture, Sanwo-Olu, Amuka, Oshoba, Obaigbena address media survival strategies tomorrow. Jakande lecture, Sanwo-Olu, Amuka, Oshoba, Obaigbena address media survival strategies tomorrow. Account filing default: 12 listed firms pay 122.1 million naira fines. A2 Danjuma Edun others join Nine Mobile Board. Serap sues CBN over missing 100 billion naira dirty notes orders. The story runs on page 7 of Leadership. Of course, we are going towards the masthead of Leadership. We have protest planners must provide leaders' details. IGP insists. The story runs on page 7 of Leadership. That is countdown to the nationwide protest taking place August 1st. IGP insists that protest planners must provide leaders' details. The story runs on page 7 of Leadership. And on the business board, NEC limits federal government's financial exposure to power sector with Mbed's exit. NEC limits federal government's financial exposure to power sector with Mbed's exit. Mbed refers to Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC, NBET. And that takes us to the stories above the masthead of Leadership. Alleged Basa breach: federal government may ban British Airways from Lagos. Progressive governors Lord Abdulrazak over achievement. Story runs on page 7 of Leadership. With that, we move to the page 3, where we have our stand. Our stand today is on Beyond Regional Commissions. Beyond Regional Commissions, talking about the recently signed into law of the Northwest Development Commission and the Southeast Development Commission. Our stand today is on Beyond Regional Commissions. Of course, it's an editorial you wouldn't want to miss as you log on to the website. But before you do that, let's go to the back page of Leadership. Monday column with Dakuku Victor Side. Dakuku Victor Side is writing on In Government, Size Matters. Of course, you have to find out what the size means in this instance as you log on to the website of Leadership for continuation of headline stories, inside stories, the editorial, and the Monday column. www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move over to its sister publication, National Economy. National Economy says cash-strapped states waste billions on unprofitable airports. Cash-strapped states waste billions on unprofitable airports. Only 5 airports in Nigeria are viable. Of course, this is a headline story on National Economy you wouldn't want to miss. You have to find out which of these states' airports are viable. Before you do that, reclaiming dormant account balances from UBTF. The story runs on page 15 of National Economy, and that takes us to the news above the masthead of National Economy. Federal government's windfall tax may stifle investments, PricewaterhouseCoopers warns. The circle of monopoly in Nigeria's downstream market is a story that runs on page 19 of National Economy. So for more, log on to the website of National Economy, www.nationaleconomy.com. From National Economy, we move over to Vanguard. We have Vanguard next on our menu. Vanguard's main headline story is on the impending nationwide protest, and it says hardship: police protest organizers dig in. Hardship: police protest organizers dig in. Be cautious, can warns federal government protest organizers. Obi backs planned protest, says hunger, hopelessness are sponsors. Stop criminalizing, politicizing protest. Lookman tests Tinubu. Police defend request for details, cite security concerns. Panic over planned protest worrisome, Utomi. Ignore Adebanjo, Afenifere not in support of protest, says Fasuranti's faction. Telcos debunk allegations of plans to frustrate harsh and bad governance protest. These are kickers beneath the main headline story today on Vanguard. Hardship police protest organizers dig in. Still on Vanguard newspaper, Abuja politicians behind banditry killings in Benue, Governor Ilia. Shortage, fuel prices rise 21% to 850 naira per litre as marketers short stations. Jakunde annual memorial lecture holds in Lagos. Gay marriage approval, Anglicans threaten to break away from Church of England. And in sports, Spain 1-0 to Nigeria. Super Falcons Olympic hopes dim. That concludes the review of front headline story today on Vanguard newspaper. For more, log on to the website of Vanguard, www.vanguardngr.com. From Vanguard, we move to Daily Sun. Daily Sun main headline story says nationwide protest fallout. Senators, rest politicians desert Abuja, travel abroad. US, UK, Turkey top destinations as anti-pro sentiment grow. Protests allowed, hunger, hopelessness sponsors. Peter Obi. Students hold town hall in Enugu, resolve to back out. Blame past government for economic woes, Senate leader Bamidele. These are riders beneath the main headline story on the nationwide protest fallout. Still on Daily Sun, windfall tax, bank stocks rise as investors lose 1.3 trillion naira. Naira dips to 1,609 naira point 29 kobo per $1 at NAFEM. Federal government signs 60 billion naira solar PV module assembling plant in Enugu. NAF airstrikes destroy 12 illegal refining sites in Abia Rivers. Nnamdi Kanu's release will reduce tension, Southeast monarchs Tinubu. NDLEA arrests Spain-based businessman with cocaine consignment conceived in Sanders in Lagos. Sanwo-Olu, Amuka, Oshoba, Baigbena to attend Jakunde annual lecture tomorrow in Lagos. 9 mobile reconstitutes board. A2, Danjuma, Edun, Ikpoki, others join. As LH Telecom takes majority stake. Of course, beside that story, we have pictures of some of the board members. We have a picture of Daisy Danjuma and A2. Iwanya Ohaneze summons emergency NEC. The story is on page 26 of Daily Sun. And just beside the masthead of Daily Sun, support Dangote refinery to end fuel queues, as NDIC boss says. As we conclude the review of front headline story today on Daily Sun, for more, log on to www.thesun.ng. From Daily Sun, we move to The Punch. The Punch says hardship protest. US, UK, Canada issue security alerts. Traders fear looting. Foreign missions foresee violence as federal government Obi differ on protest sponsors. And of course, fear queues are back. We see pictures of filling stations with long fuel queues yesterday in Abuja, Lagos. LH Telecoms acquires majority stake in 9 Mobile. Government attack Kebbi Customs base, kill officer. Court orders 1 billion naira payment to Osheni Bank's staff. Federal government scholarship beneficiaries right minister forward 56% funding cut. Fuel rises to 1,300 naira per litre as depot run dry. Only NNPCL can buy Dangote petrol, Ipman. Same NIN leakage, telcos begin final mass disconnection. These are the headline story on the Punch newspaper today, Monday, July 29, 2024. For continuation of these headline stories, log on to the website, www.punchng.com. And of course, from the Punch, we move just to the last paper we have on our menu today, and that is the Guardian. Guardian says 2 years after PIA, that is Petroleum Industry Act, NNPCL struggles with over $5.3 billion loans, JV debts, that is joint venture debts, commercialization. 2 years after PIA, NNPCL struggles with over $5.3 billion loans, JV debts, commercialization. Outcry as telcos bar lines days to SIM NIN deadline. The risk, danger of planned national protest is an editorial on the Guardian today. Guardian is writing on the risk, danger of planned national protest, and is on page 12 of the paper. Protest, Obi names sponsors as CPPE warns of 400 billion naira daily loss to economy. Bandits attack Bono police station, key loot armory. Peaceful Guba polls not certain in Ondo report warns. Concerns as Nigeria loses 6 trillion naira to tax waivers yearly. Serap sees CBN over missing 100 billion naira dirty notes. Lastly, on the cover, support Dangote refinery to reduce petrol scarcity as NDIC MD test regulators. So with that, we conclude the review of the Guardian newspaper this Monday morning. For more, log on to the website of the Guardian, www.guardian.ng. And with this also, we conclude the first half of today's program, Inside Nigeria. We have the second part of the program coming in with our guest in the studio to talk more on this impending nationwide protest. Don't go away, stay tuned. Good morning once again, and welcome to the second half of the program Inside Nigeria, your current affairs program on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Gbebo once again. Of course, I have my guest in the studio. He is the president of Niger Delta Peace Movement, Ezekiel Domputa.
Thank you.
And welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have you on the program. We are looking at a countdown. Last week, Leadership newspaper began a countdown to the impending nationwide protest due to take place on August 1, 2024. Of course, there have been so many talks, anti, those are against marching up by the day, with people reeling out the consequences of such action. So what do you have to say? Are you one of those, as president of Niger Delta Peace Movement, are you one of those canvassing for the nationwide protest?
I want to first and foremost thank the opportunity being given to me. Then as well, calling on the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the president itself, with an immediate effect for this protest not to hold, because we know the effects where this protest will take us to. For this protest not to hold, we are calling on him to sack the ministers, non-performing ministers. They have 48 ministers. Out of 48, it's only 5 that is performing ministers across the country. I would speak to you, my dear sister, sitting before you. The Minister of Youth, both the senior minister and the junior minister, they have not even at any point in time have engagement of the youth. As I'm talking to you, we have the SA on youth initiative. Nobody knows her, nobody knows what they are doing. They are just, we don't even know where they are coming from. As I speak to you, the youth are seriously angry. My advice to the president is to first sack out of 48 ministers, leave 5 who are performing, sack the rest, let them go to their various houses. Because at this point, they have nothing to offer to the country. And also, secondly, I must call on the president, should with an immediate effect see what he can do to stop this protest by calling on having a broadcast to the Nigerians and as well calling on Nigerians, letting them know that he will see what he can do by reviewing the oil subsidy. And as well,
okay, you made the fuel subsidy.
Yes.
Okay, you are agitating that fuel subsidy should be reinstated.
Yes, because as I speak to you, every cost of everything in Nigeria.
But the president already told us that there's no going back on fuel subsidy.
At this point, the president need to check on his decision. Despite, because if you must look at what is going on across the country now, there is a tension across the country, and we are not ready to get to where Kenya is at this point.
Okay.
Because they will run him straight. This country will collapse in his hand if care is not being taken. So at this point, let us not talk about whether going back or not going back. Let us talk about what will be the effects of this
strike.
Of this, not just a strike. It's going to be a riot. Because the youth are, the people who are already engaged on this have already taken their decision, and they have already made themselves being known that this thing will take effect.
Okay. Now you talked about the president sacking some of his ministers. How do you know that these ministers are working? You talked about 5 ministers that are only working. How were you able to arrive at such?
Yes, I will give you, if you want me to give you the instances of the 5 ministers being working, you will get their names, and I will tell you that these ministers have performed beyond expectation.
How do you know that they have performed? What are your markings?
I will give you first and foremost the minister of FCT. He has proven to show that he knows his job.
Okay.
And you can go on and on and on. But at this point, all I'm asking for is for the president to show the youth and to show reaction that at this point he needs to show the people human face by sacking first. Out of 48 ministers, 5 should be left, the rest should go.
And in your view, who are the 5 that should be left?
I know at this point.
Okay, but you just mentioned only the FCT minister.
Yes, I will mention the FCT minister, and as well I'm going to mention the Minister of Interior, who have done well. Yes.
Okay. So what you are saying in essence is that even the SSA Minister of Youth, they have not reached out to the.
As I'm talking to you, the Minister of Youth have failed at in all ramification. The SA on youth investment, I don't know where they are. Nigeria does not even know these people. They don't even know that they are ministers in their hands to do things with youth sector. So why are they even ministers? Because if somebody is being given opportunity, he should show reason why he's being given opportunity. This hardship is hitting on Nigerians, and as I speak to you, there is nothing to show that there is human face showing that, oh, there is a sympathy, so that the youth can as well turn down and say, okay, these people have actually shown that there is a sympathy. Let us see how we can reason together. My sister, reasoning together, even Bible say, come, let us reason together. There must be a reason of reasoning together, because if this protest get to hold, that there will be an issue across the country.
The federal government is saying or insisting that the impending protest, is being sponsored by politicians. How true is that?
I choose to differ from what the federal government has said. Why do I say so? The president knew how he managed to become the president of Nigeria. He should not take that for granted. He should thank God for giving him this opportunity for becoming the president of Nigeria. First and foremost, when he came on board, he knew ABC was not right, and having taken the decision of fuel subsidy being gone, he needed to put DFGH in place. Because whether you want to say it that somebody is funding anybody, my sisters, I'm talking to you, 50,000 naira can no longer afford any good thing in the market. Once fuel have reduced, every other thing is as good as going down. And with the immediate effect, adding this, the president should as well form a presidential task force. While revealing the fuel subsidy, he should form a presidential task force to as well going across the country, knowing how the market price of commodities are going.
Now we just have just about 2 days to go to the planned protest in August. So do you think, in your view, anything can be done within these 2 days
Yes,
to avert that impending protest?
very, very possible. If today evening the president give a broadcast and said, I hereby submit by me sacking these non-performing ministers, and henceforth I will as well move by me revealing the oil subsidy, and as well putting presidential task force in going across the country, knowing what is the market forces is all about. I tell you nothing but the truth. This whole protest will end on its own. It will just end on its own without adding anything on it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. That has been the issue on the impending protest scheduled to take place August 1st. And of course, I've had with me in the studio the president of Niger Delta Peace Movement, Ezekiel Don Peter. Now, Ezekiel, just before we go, as we speak, the fuel pump price has risen to 850 naira from its pump price.
Those are part of the thing we are talking about. Because as this fuel keep on hiking, so the price of things keep on skyrocketing. You cannot at this point keeping on ranking. Madam, as I speak to you here, cost of things have beyond the pisma and affordable to the common Nigerians. You know, when you talk about affording things, you must look at those, the downtrodden. You must look at those who do not have basic some source of income. This source of income is what we are all talking about. And even those who have source of income, where and how would they get affording all these things? 850 naira is on a very high side. We know that you may say, oh, some countries are buying fuel in these prices and these prices. Before this country have gotten to where they are, they have already been things put in place. You talk about CNG vehicles, none of them have been seen. You talk about you annexing this and that. Before you say these things, all these things should be put in place. My plea to the president is for him not to allow this so-called protest to hold because if he hold, they will run him straight. I tell you nothing but the truth. This country will collapse in his hand, and he should not allow the country to collapse in his hand. Do not be mindful. And people coming to tell you that, oh, we want to do a peaceful protest. There is no peaceful protest anywhere. What has happened in Kenya should as well. The president should know that what has happened in Kenya is not what he should play with. This because despite all those who came out in Kenya with the mindset, we just want to make our view be known. Before you knew, the people adapted, and today they have destroyed the Nairobi. They have destroyed everywhere. There is nothing to write home about Kenya any longer. So we do not want this in Nigeria. But why we do not want this? The president must show human face. By him first, this evening, sack the ministers.
Okay, and you think that one will solve it? Solve the issue.
Because,
anyway, just before we go, you know that in this country, whatever goes up does not come down, especially the prices of goods and commodities. So even if federal government were to take this step, do you think it will force the price of goods down immediately?
With an immediate effect. As I speak to you, I said one, sack the non-performing ministers. One, review the oil subsidy. By the time you get reviewing, you immediately put the presidential task force in place to check on hiking of things across the federation. By the time you do this, every other thing will be put in place. Then Nigeria will be able to afford food and have a sense of belonging. Because I speak to you, Nigerians do not even have a sense of belonging. They just see themselves like people whom they just brought them into Nigeria like a refugees. We should not be seeing ourselves as a refugee. We should be proud that we are from this country. We should be the owner of this country. This country belongs to all of us. Nobody owns this country.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ezekiel Don Peter. It's been a pleasure having you on the program, speaking on the nationwide protest scheduled to take place August 1. Now, one last word before we go. You have anything to say again, to add?
Yes, what I want to say is, please, Mr. President, do not let anybody put it to you that nothing will happen. Sir, something will happen. If the Minister of Youth, both senior minister and junior minister, and the SA on youth investment today have failed to engage the youth, madam, before me and you, none of these people have engaged the youth by youth dialogue, by seminar, by symposium, by anything. There is nothing to offer. These people have just failed. They do not even know their aims and objectives of being in the youth ministry. Haven't been removed sports from the youth, because now we are talking about specifically youth development, and these people have all ramification. All we just want to say is that, please, let the president do not let Nigerians pick anger out of his policy. Haven't key ministers who have failed in all ramification. These people have failed, and they should go to their various houses. And people who are more profound should be engaged, because you need people who are more profound should be engaged and should be given opportunity to show that. I will tell you something. Let me tell you something. All the people that they say they are professional, they are technical, they are this, they have all failed in all ramification. Take nothing but the truth. They have all failed. At this point, I want to say that everybody the president have given opportunity is just 5 ministers that have singled out themselves out of this administration. Every other person have failed in all ramification.
Now, just before we go, are you not worried that there has been ethnic coloration to this protest?
People may call on ethnic coloration,
Like,
because,
for instance, we have some saying that, oh, because they are Southwest people, some saying that because their person is in power, that is why other people are now rising out to protest. And that when we had the former president in power, nobody came out to protest. Why now? That
yes, because then why the protest could not hold and have that effect then was because there was no hardship. We are talking about hardship here. If we are talking about something that has nothing to do with the ordinary Nigerians, then you have no issue to discuss about with the ordinary Nigerians is actually facing hardship. They can no longer pay their house rent. They can no longer afford food to eat. So when somebody who cannot afford food, first and foremost, shelter, clothing is an essential before any other thing. Every other thing is as good as secondary. But when you talk about shelter and clothing, you cannot take that away from any human being. And once that can no longer be affordable, my sister, there is bound to be anarchy and chaos.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, with that, we come to the end of today's Inside Nigeria. I've had the pleasure of having company with me, the Niger Delta Peace Movement President Ezekiel Don Peter, shedding more light on this scheduled nationwide protest due to take place August 1st. And don't forget to join us My name is Winifred Grapple, by the way, and don't forget to join us same time, same station tomorrow for another fresh edition of the program. Don't also forget to join us for news on the hour on the station. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placement, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership